guys, I'm Roland Techusiast, and here's my review of the Nubia REDMAGIC 8 Pro gaming smartphone. Let's get started. The new Nubia REDMAGIC 8 Pro looks stunning with its square design, and there are no more curves resulting in a refreshed feel. It has a lot of gaming characteristics, especially this wide model, which, if you ask me, looks best between the two models that are available. It's worth keeping in mind that the REDMAGIC is a large device, and despite me loving the design and feel, it's very hard to handle with a single hand. The front and back have glass panels, and the matte chassis is made from aviation aluminium. The red accent color also complements the gamer aesthetics, making the device feel more premium and better suited for its intended target audience. When it comes to the buttons and ports, it has everything you need. Volume rocker on the left, alongside the vent for the fan, and the power button and game space center slider on the right. There's also a 3.5mm headphone jack on top for those still relying on the good old cable. On the back, the phone even sports a full-flashed LED strip that can shine any of the pre-selected colors for the pre-made occasions you select. This lets you choose certain gradients and solid colors with effects when listening to music, playing games, or charging your device. It's neat and an excellent addition to improve the overall feel, and in general, it's a beautiful device, and even though I'm not a heavy gamer myself, it looks stunning and it's got to be my favorite phone design in 2023. I have the top spec REDMAGIC 8 Pro with 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. The phone is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and the Red Core 2 chip, responsible for handling audio, RGB lighting and haptic feedback. All in all, it's a top spec device with the latest and most powerful chip that is available in early 2023, and it performs as you would expect. Games run well and multitasking is efficient and smooth. I have never encountered any sluggish behavior or any lag, even when I played for long and extensive hours. It's worth noting that despite playing for multiple hours at the same time, the device didn't overheat and the fan always kept it at a cool temperature. The back of the device never heated up to the point where it would have been uncomfortable to hold, and although the fan can be heard in a quiet room, it's not as loud as a laptop cooling solution, and listening to the game will draw out most of the noise. Generally speaking, the device performed the way you'd expect. It's a gaming smartphone and it has excellent cooling capability to keep things under control. It provides excellent performance regardless of the graphics you throw at it, and I played Genshin Impact, Brawl Stars, Diablo Immortal and League of Legends, and the REDMAGIC 8 Pro is simply one of the best, the smoothest and the most fun I've ever had playing games on a mobile device. If you're a gamer looking for the absolute best, this will boost your experience to the next level. And now onto the display. The REDMAGIC 8 Pro comes with a massive 6.8-inch AMOLED screen and 120Hz refresh rate. The screen offers excellent viewing angles, accurate colors and multiple color profiles. I never had an issue with the screen, and it's worth noting that the P3 and sRGB color gamuts are also supported and completely optional in settings. The slim bezels also make the device more aesthetically pleasing, and the under-display camera cannot be seen with the naked eye unless you specifically look for it. It's really well hidden, making the display even more immersive and fun to use. Speaking of fun, playing outside is also a non-issue, and the screen tops out at 1300 nits of peak brightness, providing an enjoyable experience even in direct sunlight. Overall, the display is stunning and it's excellent for consuming media, playing games, multitasking and general browsing. I never had an issue, and I'm happy to report that it's one of the best screens I've ever used on a gaming smartphone. If there's an area where Nubia smartphones often fail, it's the software. Previous REDMAGIC devices often had issues with the brightness slider, poorly translated text in settings and notification frustrations and a few more. Well, those are still here. Nubia seems to have taken a few steps to address some of the problems. Sadly, the aforementioned problems are still here, but at least it's good to know that it doesn't affect the performance when playing games. Before I get ahead of myself, I also want to emphasize that Nubia claims to support its gaming smartphones for 1.5 to 2 years maximum, and it will generally provide at least one major OS update. This means that the REDMAGIC 8 Pro will receive Android 14 when it comes out, and security wise it will be maintained until at least the middle of 2024. When it comes to the general user interface of the device, it's everything you expect from a standard smartphone. It's pretty bare bones, but the device sports Android 13 and there are a few neat features such as Material U color that apply to the lock screen and notification shade. Sadly, there's still no real option to further customize these settings to your liking, but once again, it's a good step in the right direction. What's neat is the ability to change the cooling fan settings. You can either turn it on or off, and change the speed by switching from auto mode to fast cooling. The latter will ramp up the fans even more, providing cooler temperatures and faster heat dissipation. This meant that I never experienced throttling, and the REDMAGIC 8 Pro was always comfortable to hold, even after long gaming sessions. But the fan isn't the only gaming specific feature on this device, and the RGB lights can also be customized and personalized. The RGB strip lets you choose from 4 preset colors and 3 gradients. These can be set for various things such as receiving notifications, watching videos, listening to music, and charging the device. Well, I wish there were more options, but the ones provided by default do a great job. When it comes to gaming specific features, there are a lot under the hood. REDMAGIC 8 Pro once again proves itself as one of the best gaming phones on the market, with features that can be deemed as essential by mobile gamers. There's an option to change the display's colors, GPU settings, and even the touch sampling rate on a game by game basis. There are also 520Hz shoulder triggers on the side of the device that can be customized, and once again for every single game individually. There are many plugins built in, each offering a different functionality, from providing a crosshair to key remapping, sound equalizer, and even macro settings. It's really powerful, and if you're an avid gamer wanting to take your mobile gaming to the next level, this might just be the device you've been waiting for. Gaming smartphones are known to have good camera setups, and while it's partially true for the REDMAGIC 8 Pro, there are a few areas it excels. First and foremost, it has a decent triple camera setup. It consists of a 50 megapixel primary, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel macro sensor. There's also a 16 megapixel under display front facing camera, but more on that later. The primary camera performs better than expected. Daylight and nighttime shots almost always capture plenty of details and true to life colors. The shadows and dynamic range aren't always perfect, but it performs well in most low light and brightly lit conditions. If you're after a tap and shoot camera, this likely isn't it, as it might require a tiny bit of editing every once in a while, but it's still great for the most part. Portrait shots are also decent, and the subject detection and separation work like a charm. The blur and the bokeh effect looks good, and while it won't make you a professional photographer, it will do a great job most of the time. That, however, is where the good story ends. The ultra-wide camera is where the story gets dark. The wide shots often end up lacking detail and are too soft, while using the ultra-wide, focusing will become very challenging, especially in darker environments and in low light. It's unimpressive to say the least, and you're better off taking a few steps back if you can. The under-display selfie camera works great during daytime in brightly lit spaces and where there's plenty of natural light, but does some overexposure issues that tend to wash out the colors and lose detail. It's usually good enough for group photos and selfies in good lighting conditions, but it falls short in low light. That being said, it's still acceptable for video calls and streaming. The nubia REDMAGIC 8 Pro is a true 2-day device. It has a large 6000 mAh battery with support for 65W fast wire charging. I often ended most days with 55 to 65% left in the battery, and almost always made it to the next day with the same charge. It was truly a challenge to drain this thing, and it changed my habit of charging it in the first week of using it. A quick 20-minute top up can almost always charge you back to full, or to about 70 to 80%, giving you plenty of room for activities such as gaming, watching movies and videos, browsing, and of course using your favorite social apps. Nubia claims the REDMAGIC 8 Pro can fully charge up in less than an hour, and I was able to get back to full charge in about 41 to 42 minutes on several occasions. While the charging isn't as fast as its predecessor, it's worth mentioning that it has a much larger battery, providing one of the longest battery life I've ever experienced in a modern smartphone. If you're after a device that can take a beating and charges up fast, then the REDMAGIC 8 Pro will do an excellent job keeping the lights on. The nubia REDMAGIC 8 Pro is an excellent successor to the REDMAGIC 7S Pro, released late in 2022. It's an excellent gaming phone with awesome game-centric features. It also has a beautiful hardware to prove its worthiness, and it has a lot of gaming characteristics and aesthetics, and it feels elegant and bold. The REDMAGIC 8 Pro has excellent haptics, great performance, and a true 2-day battery, and a bright and beautiful display and fast charging. Games have never felt as smooth on a mobile device as they did on the REDMAGIC, and it's the most fun I've ever had playing games on a phone. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and the REDMAGIC line is still flawed with software problems that have existed and date back to at least 2 generations, and it's unclear when they'll be fixed, if ever. You know how the saying goes, don't buy a product on the premise of getting updated in the future, buy it for what it is today. If you can live with those issues, it's an excellent device. Otherwise, I would suggest you wait for the next generation or see if Nubia manages to address these problems. Aside from the problems, the REDMAGIC 8 Pro is an excellent gaming phone, but not a great smartphone. If you're after the best gaming experience that money can buy at an affordable price, then the Nubia REDMAGIC 8 Pro is a device I can recommend. And there you have it. Hope you found this video useful. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. With all that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.